Man, it's hot out. It's a good thing I have refreshing Diet Coke. It really takes the edge off the heat. How y'all doing today? My name is Ryan. Welcome to Down to Business Reviews. This week for Movie Club, we watched The Truman Show, directed by Peter Weir and starring Jim Carrey, Ed Harris, Laura Linney, and Noah Emmerich. In The Truman Show, Jim Carrey plays Truman Burbank, who has been the star of a reality show since the day he was born. Every moment of his life has been broadcast 24/7, and every relationship he has been fabricated, all completely without his knowledge. That is, until he starts to believe that his world may not be at all what he thinks it is. I remember seeing this movie in 1998 in the theaters, and I'm pretty sure my parents even owned it when I was a kid. I remember really liking the movie, and I even understood the basic premise. However, it wasn't until I watched it again for Movie Club that I was able to truly comprehend the intricacies of this film. For instance, there are little cameras everywhere. I didn't pick up on that when I was a kid. I mean, I understood that all of it was supposed to be on television, but I didn't realize that so many of the shots were like from the neighbor's trash can or from the wedding ring or something. I also didn't completely understand what product placement was when I first watched this movie, and now, watching it again and understanding, the joke, it's actually really funny. I was worried going to this movie that it would be one of those movies that you liked as a kid, but seeing it as an adult, you wouldn't think it was funny anymore. But it turns out that the complete opposite was true. I actually got more out of this film now. I guess you just miss some things when you're 12 years old. I didn't take a lot of notes during the movie, but afterwards I did do some research because there are just so many levels to this film that I didn't realize. The Truman Show can be viewed as a cautionary tale for media ethics. It can also be read as an allegory for the relationship between, like a human being and someone who's pretending to be God. I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with the Bible, but that closing dialogue of the film borrows heavily from Psalm 139. This was clued in because on his sailboat is 139. And then if you look up Psalm 139, it's like they lifted directly from it. I personally enjoyed watching this film as an audience member wanting to escape reality by watching an actor who could not escape his fiction. Dichotomy in action. I think I'm correct in saying that this is one of Jim Carrey's first ventures into a semi-dramatic role. And I think this is the movie that sort of started his transition into a more mature actor. The Truman Show was the movie that proved that Jim Carrey could do more than literally talk out of his butt. If you need more proof on that subject, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind is recommended viewing. Ed Harris does a pretty good job playing Christoph, the creator of the television show with a god complex. I mean, who else could pull off that beret? You ever notice that Noah Emmerich is the perfect example of being that actor who is that one guy from that one thing? The second he walked on screen, I was like, that's that one guy from that one thing. Then you IMDb him and you're like, he was that one guy in that one thing. Paul Giamatti has a little role in this movie. He doesn't even get a name though, he's just control room director. I kind of wish that those characters would have been fleshed out a little bit more, but I just like seeing Paul Giamatti. This has to have been one of the first movies I ever saw him in. Peter Weir was able to direct this film with a very cinematic eye and also included lots of visual gags for comic relief. All the things that he could do with the hidden cameras was really just fascinating to watch and made for an interesting movie experience. He's maybe best known for directing films like Witness and Dead Poets Society, but personally, this is my favorite film of his. Because of its complexity, social commentary, Jim Carrey's performance, humor, and its nostalgia factor, The Truman Show gets an 8 out of 10. Guys, that's it for this week. Thanks so much for watching Down to Business Reviews. If you don't know, I do these reviews for SourceFedNERD's Movie Club. As always, I recommend joining us. It's a heck of a lot of fun. That said, please like, subscribe, comment. I really appreciate you taking the time to do so, and I will see you guys next week. Have a good one.